For most sports, the wild card round is at the end of this season. For baseball, for football, you got to wait until the playoffs start for the wild card round. But for NASCAR and for the 191 Motorsports, the wild card round is round number 1, and it's formed by one word: Daytona. We are here at the 2.5-mile Daytona International Speedway for the start of yet another season here for the 191 Motorsports, and they are tackling the Xfinity car this season. It is the next Gen, the Gen 6 this season. Carl Hamwork joined in the CRN booth here for another season with Jimmy Covert. Jimmy, we're ready to kick it off here again, and the most famous place that we kind of always kick it off for a lot of seasons, right here at Daytona.
It's Daytona, baby! Welcome everybody out there in the audience there for the CRN Nation. Obviously, some return people and hopefully some new ones this year. A shout out to Brenda and Renee and everybody else who decides to join here tonight. But yeah, Carl, starting it off, the way NASCAR is supposed to be started here at Daytona. Obviously, maybe a little early, but they're going to start. They have a nice long season here for these drivers on a multiple series of different tracks. So these nice legacy cars that are very, very fun to drive. And this here will just be the step one of the season. So looking to see who comes out on top, how they can work well together or not, and see if they can complete these 100 laps under green.
Yeah, the reason that we consider this the wild card round, if you will, is the fact that it's a wild card. Anybody can win this race. It's not one where your quote unquote better drivers or your better fuel mileage drivers, your better tire savers, or have the better chance. Here it's kind of game on. If you can keep that car in one piece, which is definitely a key. I will say that again, keep the car in one piece. It's 100 laps out here tonight. Very, very long race to kick off the season here, and you got to make it to lap 100 is the big key. To finish first, you must first finish. So we'll see who's got the right formula here tonight, and who's got the right friends as well, because there's not that many races in the season that you can't just do it by yourself. Here at Daytona is definitely one of them. You need some friends out there, Jimmy.
Yeah, kind of going out there without any friends, you find yourself in a little bit of a battle. Who you want to help and who you want to follow until it comes down to the end, when it is, you could drop the friendship and battle to that start finish line and figure out who can walk away the winner here tonight. But yeah, so if you're somebody out there and you're soloing these super speedways, you just got to kind of make friends out there, pushing somebody, drafting behind them, or see if they'll work with you and follow you and whatnot. But when it comes down to pit stops and strategies, you might not want to be the guy leading. You might want to be the guy behind, so you can make that last minute decision and execute that pit stop under green. And that's what they're going to try to do here, and that's what usually spreads the field out when into groups, is when that first round of green flag pit stops happens. Right now we got about 4 minutes and 35 seconds down out of the 5 minutes. We got 16 of the 18 drivers with qualifying times here right now. It does look like William Kemp is the current provisional pole sitter as the clock winds down here, and it does look like that's how it's going to end here. So it's going to be a good start here. As soon as the results are final, we'll go ahead and we'll bring those up and share with you who's actually on for the pole and the roster here for the start of this great season here with 191 Motorsports. And right here you can see William Kemp will be your first pole sitter for the season, with Matthew Jordan sitting in P number 2, Trevor Howerton back there in 3rd, Justin Spengler also on row number 2, Zane Bierman and Bradley Worley will make up row number 3, Daniel Pinkston and Richard Hartman will make up row number 4, Douglas Ivey, Michael Casey in row number 5, Nolan Potter, Paul Helms in row number 6, Dale Gunner Jr., Levi Poland in row number 7. Row number 8, Foster Yates with Scott Matthews and Greg Thielsen with Wade Inyart there for row number 8. So definitely a a nice sized field, not too many, not too little. It's going to be a battle of everybody. Anybody out here can win here tonight. Obviously, a few newer faces this season, so looking forward to see how they mesh with the rest of the field.
Well, before we get things started, we're going to bring in the man behind the curtains, the man behind the wheel of the 6, and the returning champion here. That is the 6 of Michael Casey. Michael, first off, I want to thank you for getting back on board with CRN here for another season. We're certainly ready to kick it off here at Daytona. But want to talk to you, about the season that we got starting off here at Daytona, and kind of what your outlook is. What do you think it's going to be for this season? Do you think you have a chance to repeat? And how happy are you to be back out here?
Hey guys, yeah, we're excited to be back. We wouldn't gonna let you guys go. Be like a bad Taylor Swift song. We couldn't have that. So, anyways, yeah, we're excited, man. It wasn't too long of a break for us. We were still recruiting and doing some racing, and we got some new drivers out there. So we're looking forward to a good season. Hopefully, with numbers that are a little bit more consistent this season. But yeah, everything is still on the line. We're excited to be back and racing, and man, it's good to be back in here hanging out and getting everybody together and doing some racing. And we're excited to kick season 4 off, and it's a little bit of a longer season for us too. We got 20 races on the schedule, so we did some repeat tracks, which we've never done before, so that's something that's kind of cool and new that we're doing. So all in all, just looking forward to a good season, and we're excited to have everybody on the track tonight.
Well, certainly a nice look here with 18 cars getting ready to take the green flag here. Not sure if we'll get the 18th out there, at least 17 though. But you started off here at Daytona, and it's certainly a place that a lot of leagues and certainly NASCAR starts it off right here at the famed Daytona International Speedway. But it's kind of what I said in the beginning here. It's a wild card type of race.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. It's anything can happen at Daytona, Talladega. We've got them on the schedule quite a bit this season, so I think it'll mix everything up. We also are going to be going to the new Atlanta, which is basically a 1.5-mile play track race. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity for drivers to mix it up, get up there and get the elbows up and see what they can do. So we're excited for it, and we'll see how it goes.
So this is season 3 for you guys. Obviously, we covered season 2 for you last season. What do
season
you?
4.
Season 4. Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right. I can't. I'm not even looking at this right. I was looking at the season 3 standings to see who the champion. But yeah, so season 4. I mean, what have you learned in the first 3 seasons that you think is going to carry over? Or is it just kind of it ain't broke, so don't fix it?
Just trying to stay consistent. Not every race is going to go your way. It's a long season, so if one race doesn't go your way, there's plenty of opportunity to make it up somewhere else down in the schedule. So for me, I'd like to win as many races as I can, but just trying to stay consistent, I think, is what I try to aim towards, putting in some practice and just trying to get better each time, no matter how many times you've been to the track. So,
well, real quick, before we let you get to this thing, who do you want to give a shout-out to or thanks to regarding sponsors or family members out there?
Yeah, you all for sure. Get those thumbs up, guys. We appreciate you all. Core Racing Network's awesome. Kim's Cups and More, One Vision EMS, and we're about to go green, boys.
Wish you luck out there as we are racing here at Daytona, and hoping to see a good 100-lap race here. Jimmy, this is a test of patience. It's an endurance race. I know we just got done with endurance racing the past couple days here, but this is endurance on an oval.
Yeah, endurance on an oval, and no swapping of drivers. Did get a chance to run a fantastic Petit Le Mans with yourself and our other co-host over there with Jack and Alan. So, we got a P2 out of the whole ordeal, and maybe a few driver, or maybe the lead driver was sandbagging just a little bit. He was really smoking us out there, definitely putting down times of top contenders out there. So, but either way, we walked away. We were consistent. We were fairly safe, and we stayed out of trouble and were able to work our way from 9th to 2nd. So, I think we finished. I think it was 6th overall too. So, it was a pretty good run there. I think in the LMP2 car for CRN. So, I call that a victory in my eyes, and I'm looking forward to doing it again in the upcoming races. But right now we got a race on our hands right now. It's William Kemp down on the inside with Matthew Scruffy Jordan on the outside. A little bit of wiggle back there by Bradley Worley. So you got to be careful with the pushers pushing the pusher, and obviously drivers always looking to try to pull away here, but you're in reality, it's there's nowhere to go. You got 100 laps out here. You just gotta need to take your time, be patient, just kind of let some of these laps kind of click by, get warmed up, get around some drivers that maybe you'd like to work with, and make them friends out here early. But you can see that inside line taking shape, working a little better together, maybe staying a little more together. So we're seeing the outside line kind of drop back here just a little bit, as you see Scruffy on the outside, and everybody maybe looking to fall single file here and just kind of save fuel, and that's going to kind of dictate that green flag pit stop if if it comes down to it, and who's going to work with who. And we say this over and over again that if I'm out there for a plate track race, I'm typically like to ride the bottom, especially unless I got a fair amount of fuel. I know I got some time to kind of just sit out there and try to work my way back down, but I never like to be on that outside looking to get back down to the inside in order to make that pit entry. It can be difficult at high speeds. You're trying to get in as late as possible, and you're trying to gain every second or position you can on pit road because of how difficult it can be here. So but a little wiggle there from the 23, 28, going 3 wide back there with the 31. I don't think they're the 31 though. Who is that? Is that nope, that's not it. Who is that? Not the 22. I don't know. There's a road number
right through there. Yeah, I'm seeing this is there at the 91?
Is that a 91?
I don't know. It's
maybe it is.
It is.
Yeah, just the shape of it here at the camera. Yeah, it's definitely a 91. Definitely unique 9 there for Levi. But good looking paint schemes on all the cars around. Obviously, some drivers work very hard on that. Some returning paint schemes I see, as Zane Bierman out there in the number 55 working that Ford Performance machine that is currently sitting in P number 3. So people's jockeying around just a little bit. Scruffy down 9 spots. Dale Garner Jr. in the 30, in actual the 31. He's up there in Pete number 8. See a shout out there for a few people for the 22. And let's see, big shout out to Kim's Cups and More. Obviously, every time we even picked them up over there over at Cork's Xfinity Series as a sponsor as well. So always a shout out for Kim's Cups and More, as they do a lot of good things for. It's such a small niche hobby that a lot of us like to do. So, but the outside line starting to kind of form back together again by 5 drivers, and maybe start moving back to the front.
Yeah, I think it's good again that we're seeing some patience. I know some drivers are up there scraping the wall, just kind of feeling out how these cars set in the corner, because it's highly banked here, and you are obviously full throttle the entire way, but you still kind of have to set the car into the corner. It's enough of a turn that you have to get it in there, and sometimes you kind of have to work the wheel until you get it to settle into that line. And even through the corners, you see the cars, not just straight line. They're not slot cars out here. They are going to move around a little bit, so you see enough room being given on that outside line. The inside line, it may seem easy, as Jimmy mentioned. You just kind of look at that yellow line, stick on the yellow line as much as possible, and you're going to be quote unquote in your line. But the outside line, you kind of have a little bit more flexibility. You can run in the middle, you can run close to those cars in the bottom, get a little side draft on them and try and work your way through the field, or it can be all the way at the top if you're more comfortable up there. I think a few drivers have scraped the wall now, and maybe they're not as comfortable up at the top, but I already see the second line kind of forming up here again, and it's tempting as drivers out there. You want to try and get out there, you want to try and lead a lap, you want to get that bonus point, or at least feel like if action's going to happen, it's going to happen behind you. But more often than not, you put yourself in bad situations by just trying to be aggressive and working your way up there, whether it's getting a bad bump from somebody, or you're not holding your line and somebody hits you and gets you crossed up, and all of a sudden you cause damage to yourself and others. So we always say when you come to these super speedways, there's kind of three places that drivers tend to be. One, out front, trying to run away from any kind of issues. Two, being all the way in the back and being close enough to the draft but far enough back that they can make a quick decision and avoid any incidents that happen in front of them, or those that are insane, those that need to be checked out psychiatrically and like to run in the middle of the pack in the carnage or in the battlefield, as Jimmy likes to call it. Jimmy, as the battlefield on cue, getting a little rough and tumbly there.
Yeah, it's a lot of times it's back where some of the usually not necessarily here at Daytona, but the newer drivers kind of tend to find themselves in the battlefield a lot. Obviously it's where the skill levels kind of mesh together. The top drivers and the back mark. Oh, the 52 looking a little wobbly there. That's Richard Hartman. Tagging the wall just a little bit and slowing up that outside. Was starting to gain up there with a 13, but you can see this. Everybody may be poking around just a little bit. You see the cars sliding back and forth, and there's a couple reasons for that. One, to see. Two, maybe to get a little side draft, or even three, just to get some air across the nose of that car and let that thing breathe. You don't want it to overheat. Next thing you know, you got the car blowing up on you, and you're going to fall to the wayside, maybe cause an accident, depending on where you're at. So that's not what they want to do. But that outside, really getting a run there. There's the 99 now getting left by themselves. And Mike Casey will roll to the front there as the 99. We're going to go 3 wide at 13, trying to use that side draft and get around the 99, and still have a few drivers up there on the outside. But Mike Casey rolls to the bottom along with Matthew Jordan here early on, as we're now on lap 12 of 100. So looking good so far. First 12 laps of the season in the books. Looking good here for 191, and a lot of drivers starting to just, I want to single file this thing. Get away from being outside. Just follow somebody, save fuel, and and not try to work my way up to the outside. And you can see as the drivers are kind of left behind on the outside, they just kind of falling back pretty quickly, and definitely need to look to fall in, but enough room there for the 99 to fall in behind the 91. 13, trying to get down there and get some side draft to kind of not lose too much momentum, but more than likely is going to end up sliding to the back as everybody is kind of nose to tail from front to back.
Yeah, and shout out to Richard Hartman, as he is the one behind bringing in One Vision EMS and Transports here as a sponsor. And then shout out to Wade Enyart, as he is the one behind Kim's Cups and More. And just give a little sponsor read that we give over for the Core Xfinity Series presented by Kim's Cups and More. And they are your one-stop shop for your apparel needs, whether it is custom 20-ounce tumbler to fill with your favorite post-race beverage, a 40-ounce glitter tumbler for your morning coffee after you're up all night celebrating that win, or custom clothing apparel with your favorite team sponsor or maybe your favorite broadcasters, wink wink, a custom license plate for your everyday ride, even mouse pads to help you rearrange that pesky new UI. You can choose from already created products or have them custom made to your liking, whatever your pleasure. Kim's Cups and More has it all. Check them out on Facebook today. That's Kim's Cups with a K and More. But I agree, Jimmy. I mean, it's been a good start here, and there's a lot of times you get into these races here, start of the season. It's at Daytona. Everybody knows it's maybe their maybe not one and only chance to win, but it's a really good chance for some of the middle, mid-pack or backpack drivers to get up there and get a win. A lot of new faces out there. You're trying to figure out, who's got skill, who doesn't, and it's unfortunately it ends up being a wreckfest sometimes here at Daytona because everyone is just trying to make a name for themselves. But so far so good. I mean, we're here on lap number 15 already, and no issues so far. Defending champion Mike Casey out front right now. You got Scruffy there in second place, and then the 22 of Daniel Pinkston out of the daddy roll and into the car for this season. He's not going to be the one being race control this season. That is Greg Thieleson That is the one, that number 12 there that we showed as starting last year tonight. He's just going to be the race control for the season. But so far so good. A little bit of a 5-car breakaway at the front, and I'm sure Zane Bierman there in the 55 and Levi Poland don't want to see them getting a little too far away. They're going to have to get grouped up here and run them down.
Yeah, Zane's going to need a little bit of push and some help from that 33 back there. We'll go back here and see what the Zane's doing back here. Just need that 33 to really kind of get tucked back up underneath the car. Don't necessarily need to be touching the bumper. You're going to see them touch there just a little bit. The 13 looking for a hole here early on, trying to get by the 99, but backs off just a little bit and takes that run. And that's the one thing that the drivers need to learn, is obviously how to maintain that, not maintain, or utilize that run that they get from that draft, and they get a good push there. And you can see the 2 cars there up front, and the 91 and the 99 working together, get in front of Zane Bierman. And that's what they need to happen. They need to get this push, but they just got to keep working together here. Just get nice and tight there. Zane doesn't need to touch the back bumper of the 99, about close as they can get, so they can hopefully get enough momentum and speed to catch into that draft. 13 having a little bit of issues back there, trying to find his way, and just needs to get in line and work with the other drivers and be able to catch back up. So now's the time. Now you got a little bit of gap between those first few. As you can see, they're starting to pull away with the other drivers kind of ducking around back there, too wide and all whatnot. So it does look like the 21 of Wade Inyard is going to go a lap down, which isn't a bad thing here just yet, but definitely is off pace just a little bit. It's going to end up falling back, and hopefully you can catch the next group that comes on by. But the top 5, Carl, here breaking away here early on as they just work from nose to tail. Just kind of, there's no, like I said, no reason to battle right now. And if they can work together here, this might be the 5. If they can pit well together, they can get the same pit stops, they can come back out, and this could be a long race for everybody else, starting with a nice gap, a nice 2.5 second gap back to Zane.
Yeah, I mean, typically you want to be within a second of the car in front to get that draft. Usually a second, maybe you can get it at the 1.2, but right now certainly well out of the drafting range at 2.5 seconds, and not looking back, still stretching it out at the front. So they got the right idea, and I think this second group now is starting to realize, hey, you know what, we got to stop messing around here. We got to try and get in line here. Don't let these guys stretch their legs out too far, because it is a sizable gap to the top 5. And with the size of the field out here tonight, 17 cars, a good sized field, but you get this thing stretched out a little bit, and the chances of a caution are certainly a lot less likely, unless these guys start to mess around here, or trying to shift drivers to the front to get some clean air on somebody's front end there, and get the air into the engine to cool it off. There's less of a chance of a caution. So a driver like Wade Inyard just going down there a lap, less of a chance for him to be the lucky dog and get back on that lead lap to battle. I'm not sure exactly what happened if he missed the start, but I did see he was dropped off the back of the pack for quite early. And unfortunately, you see what happens when you're a single car, you don't have the draft, you're going to get lapped. Plain and simple, you're not going to be able to keep any kind of speed. Hopefully for Wade, he can try and keep up with this 13 here, because if he loses this draft again, he's going to be a lone survivor out there once again, and eventually going to go to 2 laps.
Not a place that Wade wants to be, I'm sure, and trying to work his way around here, and just maybe, I didn't see any damage on that car, but we'll go ahead and take a run around the car there just to see if he's got any damage. I'm not saying anything on the rear side, and we'll go ahead and look at the front here and see if he's got any damage. No, car looks great. Nice blue and white Inyard Farms machine here, and definitely got everybody's sponsor on there. Got Kim Cups and more, and so yeah, just looking to see this 21 hopefully be able to stay with the pack and not go a few laps down. But we're 22 laps in, Carl, already, so about a little over almost a quarter of this race down as they work their way around Daytona here. Michael Casey is out front leading the way You know, and some drivers are comfortable being up there, and you know, Mike Casey's always one to be comfortable leading, of course, but when you're out front, you are using more fuel, so your pit stop might be a little longer than others. But these drivers right here are just kind of working together, nose to tail. There's nobody poking out, nobody really falling out of line. They got that line pretty, you know, solid right now. There's not a lot of, you know, drifting around. Everybody's very close to each other, and this is how you get it done. This is how you get the speed to kind of pull away, and it's just patience. And a lot of the times when we see these races here at Talladega, you know, the drivers don't have a lot of patience, and you know, they're working really hard right now to continue to build that gap out to now 4 seconds back, you know, to Zane Bierman. So Zane's got you know, hope, you know, he's back there hoping and wishing that making sure these cars will basically just focus up, you know, get on each other's bumpers and just, you know, run as tight as possible. The farther you get spread out, the slower your group kind of goes, and without them drivers up front battling, the other 5 are going to walk away.
And right now, you look at the time in between Trevor Howerton and Zane Bierman. It's like a bucket that's got a small little leak in it. It just keeps dripping and dripping and dripping. Right now, out to almost 4.5 seconds. And you see here as Bradley Worley steps out of line and tries to get the second line going here. This is what's going to cause this, you know, this gap to get even wider. You got to have all these guys in line. I mean, we've seen too wide sometimes be faster with the side draft and kind of, you know, working it back and forth. Sometimes it is a little bit faster, but more often than not, you just got to get everybody in a straight line and work it. But I mean, we are far from the end of this thing, and really, more often than not, what it comes down to at Daytona, just like a lot of tracks, it comes down to pit stops. And obviously here at Daytona, probably the easiest pit road to get into all season. I mean, it's about 37 cars wide, but actually, hold that thought. We're going to have a caution flag here, and the easy way to get in the pits. And big net code there in between the 99 and 88s. There was a good foot in between them, just looking at the chopper cam here. And unfortunately, it's going to turn Nolan Potter into the wall, and Bradley Worley maybe getting some damage on that one as well. We're just going to bring out the caution here right at about the quarter-way mark here at lap 25.
You're probably perfect timing for some of these drivers. I don't know the field distance here, obviously, and you know, I'm not going to make any guesses here tonight. It can go up and down. It's not something we think about too often here at Daytona, because normally there's a caution that comes out with everybody running so close. But first caution flies here on lap 25. Mike Casey is in the lead with Matthew Jordan, Daniel Pinkston, William Kemp, and Zane Bierman up there for your top 5. And this is going to allow you know, Wade to get back on the lead lap. So Wade catching a break there will be the lucky dog, be able to make it all the way around, and then be able to get down into his pit stop and top back off and be back on the same lap as everybody else. So good break there for Wade. It's much needed for that number 21 here tonight, and hopefully get back out there and you know, be able to keep pace with everybody else and not find himself back in that situation here again. But yeah, I would say everybody's going to come down this time by call.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, you don't want to be the driver out there having to pit under green if everybody already made their pit stops under yellow here. So we'll see everybody come down here. Now, whether you take tires or not, tires aren't that big of a deal here at Daytona. I mean, a 100-lap race, I definitely want to get some new tires if I have it in there, and especially if it's under yellow, you're kind of dumb not to, because if you're worried about losing track position, you can go out there and get it back pretty quickly just by using the draft and the side draft. So the track position not really that big here. You know, the qualifying not really that big. You can move up and down very quickly if you do it correctly, that is. But we'll see everybody come down here, most likely 4 tires and fuel for the entire field. And then we'll get this thing back underway. Wade Daniel going to stay out there and should be getting the lucky dog this time by. And he'll take the 21 around everyone. And then he'll be able to pit next time by. We'll see if Michael Casey can rejoin out here in the lead. But all in all, I mean, it's pretty good. It sucks that a little bit of netcode is what started the first one, but I'm surprised, honestly, Jimmy, that netcode doesn't come into play more often at Daytona. I mean, we've seen so many races here. It's obviously a huge track, 2.5-mile track, tons of stands on the front stretch. I mean, you got the big video board on the back there. You got the big pond. There's so much graphics that need to be loaded here, but very seldom do we actually see netcode be that big of an issue.
Yeah, it might be because of the popularity of this track, and I would hope iRacing puts in the time to get things done properly when it comes to especially their more popular tracks to make sure that everything is stable. But I mean, it does happen, as we've seen there, as netcode brought it out, just miscalculation between what's actually on the screen and the math that goes back and forth between the server, the computer, and the other racers out there. So all in all, regardless, it was a great first run. So it's definitely good to see the drivers out there getting that green flag run. And if a caution was caused by netcode and not another driver, that's kudos to the drivers on what they're doing here tonight. But definitely all that hard work it took for these first 5 to kind of pull away. Now everybody's going to be grouped back up. They're going to be too wide, and they're going to have to battle it out now. They stretched it out once before. They could do it again. But right now, yeah. Good.
But now I'm wondering if this kind of sends a warning shot to all the drivers out there, like, hey, if we mess around here again, it's going to be the same thing. These 5 are going to break away, or at least a group of them are going to break away here at the front. So we got to be a little bit more aware of the situation and not get to racing if we see a few kind of locking in a line at the front. But it is going to be Michael Casey at the front, Daniel Pinkston, Matthew Scruffy Jordan, Douglas Ivey, and Zane Bierman for your top 5. Levi Poland, Dale Garner Jr., Foster Yates, Paul Helms, and Bradley Worley for your top 10. Once again, I want to thank everyone out there for tuning in to CRN here tonight, as we are back to full throttle here, as we got 7 races over 5 days. Plenty of racing action here. So if you like racing, you're at the right spot here at CRN. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, get you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer. We got the 191 Motorsports here on Monday or on Sunday nights. On Mondays, we have the Hold Your Brakes Academy. Tuesday nights, we have the Core Xfinity Series presented by Kim's Cups and More. Wednesday, we have a doubleheader with CSRL, which is a GT3 series, and then Pit Road Speed Limit Racing. And then on Thursday, we also have a doubleheader with Virtual Velocity Racing and the Core GT Series presented by ChaseDecals.com. So again, whether you like ovals, whether you like road, we got you covered here on CRN. But we're gonna get this thing back underway. It's gonna be lap number 29 when we restart, so plenty of racing still to go here, as Michael Casey looks to start his title defense on top of the boards.
Just double checking. My speakers went out on my PC this week, and just wanted to double check, make sure the cars were actually on volume where they're supposed to be for the stream out there, because everybody wants to hear these cars rumble around, and obviously for our segment later on, I'd love to hear it. So right now we get back under green. Michael Casey with a nice and slow, steady start. That's what you want here at a super speedway, and leads off the field down into turn number 1.
Yeah, it's one thing we haven't talked about is restarts here, and of any of the places that you don't want to get a good restart as a leader is here at Daytona or at Talladega, because you can just absolutely get freight trained. You get out there to a big jump, because you are the control car. On the initial start of the race, Barney, the flagman, waves the green. That starts the race. But then every restart after that, the leader has the control. So when they get into the restart zone, he can go anytime within that restart zone, right at the beginning, right at the end, right in the middle, wherever he wants to go in that restart zone. If he doesn't go by the end of the restart zone, then the green flag does start the race back up. But it's not one where you want to get a good jump here as a leader. You want to be able to pull all those drivers behind you, so you get a good long draft going again, which looks like we're starting to build up to once again.
Yeah, and obviously a few drivers know what worked early, and that's what they're going to try to go with again. With so many laps remaining. I mean, we're on lap number 30, so still got 70, a little over 70 laps here to go, and the drivers are trying to get together and get going. And you see a few drivers, even seeing how important it was. Everybody's kind of getting down to the bottom early on. Kind of stick them guys on the outside by themselves, make them fall back to the field and have to work their way up the hard way, and working together, drafting and whatnot. But right now it is the 22 of Daniel Pinkston out there, and he does have some help. But what kind of help is that? We're about to find out as he's looking at the 91 to push, and the 28 as well. Got the 99 out there, and if those cars can hook up and run very smooth lines. You can see that outside line, be able to get back up to the front. There's a 22 just coming down, get some side draft, break it away just a little bit, get around the corners, get that run out, and try to make things work. And there's plenty of room. Drivers can even race 3 wide here, pretty comfortably. Now 4 I've seen, but they become very, very tight.
Yeah, I mean, here at Daytona, even 3 wide is tight. A track like Talladega, it seems like it's 4 or 5 lanes wide compared to Daytona here. 2 wide certainly can happen. 3, it is very possible as well, but it does feel tight. It feels very constricted there, and it just takes one little bobble from that car in the middle to go down, go up, and that's where you'll see the big one here at Daytona. But we are about a third of the way through this race. And Jimmy, you mentioned about the sound of the cars. I think it's about time to crank it up here. Give everyone out there in Sierra Nation a little love to hear it.
A little bit of low to hear it. And sights and sounds here at Daytona come to a halt as Levi Poland gets a little bit of a 360 treatment here on the track. And it looks like there's maybe one car, but not too much damage. But obviously with the league has a couple fast repairs, some mulligans out there to be able to get the car replaced. But almost at the halfway mark. We're here on lap 44, caution flies, and we'll go ahead and take a look at what happened to Levi. And we did see it there live, and you can see the 28 coming down, just bumping that left, this right rear corner. I was going to spin him around, and the 28 just slides down behind. Oh, that's some net code there off the 21. It keeps the 31 spinning. But yeah, so caution flag flies. There's a few have some troubles there. Justice Spangler going to go for a little bit of a ride down into the grass, but able to keep it off the wall. So maybe some minor damage there by the 28, but not enough to stop that car from running here tonight yet. So we're going to go back live. We'll see what everybody decides to do. I'm thinking another caution, or as the caution flies, I think drivers are going to look at possibly coming down here again, even though we're on lap 44 of 100, so not quite that halfway mark. Carl will be back here temporarily, but we're just going to keep the live coverage here. We're going to watch how your favorite drivers are doing. I'll go ahead and bring up the tower so you can see where your favorite driver sits at the moment and what they decide to do. It does look like everybody's going to come down to pit lane. It does look like maybe Pinkston's going to stay out, which is a brave move. Not necessarily on the tire aspect, because tires don't matter too much, but I think the 22 wants to get a lap led here.
Yeah, kind of surprising, and honestly, I thought it's kind of another no-brainer. Like, it's caution. You got to bring it in here, and you got to get the fuel topped off and get ready for the final kind of run here to the to the end of this race. I know we're only just about getting to the halfway point. I know we just had a pit stop on lap number 25, 26, but we don't know the fuel mileage. Maybe he can make it to the end, but that's a pretty long way. I mean, 74 laps is a long run on a tank of fuel.
Full fuel, 72 laps time ain't working.
Yeah,
I think it's a full tank. I think it's right around I want to say in the 40s, but I'm not 100% sure on that, so maybe 45 or so, but I'd like to, if anybody's out there, if a driver is racing, what's your fuel mileage? Will you share with us? It doesn't matter, but we're looking. But obviously I want to give a shout out to Ender Jess, as she's out there rooting on the number 28 as well. And obviously Brenda giving a shout out to Kim's Cups and More, as always, as we will continue to do for the whole season. As the small business with obviously with Wade and his wife, doing some good things for the community out there. So just a huge shout out for Kim's Cups and More. Also One Vision that is on board here as well with 191 Motorsports.
Yeah, I'm not sure when Ender just posted that, but I don't think it was too long after that is when Spengler went down through the grass. So
yeah,
I mean, I know it happened to me on the view.
Maybe he didn't
caught it live.
Maybe he didn't cut the grass today, and that's just his way of making sure the yard work was done.
Well, I'm just trying to make sure it wasn't any kind of broadcast with curse, because we were showing the racing live and we seen exactly when it happened. But we're gonna blame this one on Jess out there. Sorry, Jess, you're gonna take this one on the chin here, and that one's gonna be on you. No, either way, it didn't look like too much damage for these drivers out here. And as Jimmy mentioned, excuse me, they do have a fast repair, actually two that they can use for the race, and basically that just means when they come in, instead of it taking potentially 15 minutes for the crew to fix the car, it fixes it automatically right away. It's basically a reset on the car, and all the damage is fixed. But Jimmy, you mentioned earlier on, one thing that you don't want to do is push the pusher. For anyone that's new out there to super speedway racing and to this, these bump drafting and everything like that, why don't you give us kind of an explanation of what pushing the pusher is and why you don't want to do it here at Daytona?
Well, obviously more than one car will make the that line go faster. So you'll get whoever's out front, and then the guy directly behind him is known as the push car. They're the ones that can really get up on that bumper, physically touch it if the guy in front's not moving around too much, and really get that speed going, hooking up those two cars. Now, if a third car comes behind and pushes the pusher, the second car, it ends up becoming a big old mess, and it just doesn't work. It's kind of like it transfers, and it's kind of like, I don't know, like almost like a slinky, where you're pushing, just have two pieces, it's fine, but as soon as you add like a lot more to it, it just starts to move, and it can really cause a wreck. And sometimes you can get away with it, but it definitely is not ideal at any time to do that, and it's just dangerous and could cause an accident more times than not, probably more than not. But pace car is in. It is going to be Matthew Pinkston out, or excuse me, Daniel Pinkston out front with Matthew Jordan on the outside. Getting a good start. Maybe a little bit of tire spin there by a 22, but it's going to lead him down into turn number 1.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons why that pushing the pusher doesn't work is because when you're trying to bump draft somebody, even though these bumpers look pretty flat in the back and for the most part kind of flat in the front end, you have to do it squarely. You have to bump in the middle of that bumper to give a good clean bump that the driver in front doesn't get out of shape. And it's hard enough to do that with two cars. As Jimmy's saying, you see right here, the 31 doing a good job pushing the 23 down the backstretch, and the 6 pushing the 22. You have to do it square, and you have to do it in the middle, because if you hit on kind of the left side or the right side of those that bumper, that's when it's going to get that car out of shape, and that's when you cause issues and cautions because cars wrecking. So now think about it, doing it for that third car in line. Not only do you have to make sure that you're hitting that car in front of you in the middle, but you have to hope that that car in front of you is hitting the car in front of them in the middle as well. So it's multiplication. It's hard enough, the chances of hitting them square in the middle, you see right there, Casey hit Pinkston just a little bit on the side, that's why he bobbled a little bit. So if, Casey got hit at that same time, it's going to make that shove even harder and really get the 22 out of shape. So can it be done? Yes. Are you asking for trouble? Yes. So, unless it's, last lap or somehow you're trying to make a big move, it's not worth it. And even bump drafting itself, more often than not, is actually not even worth it.
Yeah, and you can see, obviously Mike Casey, last year's champ, and I know that Daniel Pinkston's got some time in the car too, being able to come out here this season and run as well. So maybe looking to get some wins or even be up front, be another competitor for Mike Casey. But, obviously these two, they know each other and trust each other. So, but it's just a lot of trust in the guy behind you. It's a lot of trust in the guy in front of you. A lot of times you don't want to push to the corners real hard, because you can really upset the car. But yeah, and it just kind of, can get ugly. But these slight bumps that you're seeing here on the screen right now are, they can be dangerous. It's just that they're trying to do this in order to be faster and move that inside line and break away from everybody else. And right now you got three cars that are out front single file, and then back to the 2 wide. And can the outside get together? Yes, and they can depending on what who is out there, Scruffy. So Scruffy is Scruffy comes down and starts side drafting. He's going to catch a lot more draft and probably be able to drive up alongside like the rest of the field. But keeping some space right now. We're about to hit the halfway mark here this time by as they cross the line to start lap number 51. So half the race is over. And right now the 22 of Daniel Pinkston out front with Michael Casey, Bradley Worley, Paul Helms, and Nolan Potter there for your top 5. Then you have everybody's mixed around there, but Trevor Howerton, Matthew Jordan, Levi Poland, Wade Inyard, Dale Garner Jr., Scott Matthews, Douglas Ivey, Zane Bierman, Justin Spangler, William Yates, William Kemp back there. I don't know if William is actually in the front.
I was just going to mention that. He's the only one that we lost. Our pole sitter here tonight, the 9, William Kemp, we lost him. It looks like Foster Yates certainly out of the draft here, kind of running that Wade Enyart line all by himself right now, and hoping that a caution comes out to get him back up with the field before he goes a lap down. But you see, Wade Enyart, he's gotten his lap back, and now he's in the top 10. He's up there in 9th position, so he's got to stick it out sometimes here at Daytona. As lonely as it is right now for Foster Yates, and probably feeling like he's just out here doing practice laps, or, you know, it sucks. It sucks when you're just out there by yourself. You know you're down on speed. You know you're eventually going to get lapped, and you're just hoping for something to happen. And talking about a shot out there. I mean, just so happened that the 13 was right there with the 21 in line, but that is going to be another one that is live. This one, I don't think we can blame this one on Jess. This was not going to end well for the 13 and should bring out another caution.
Yeah, caution is out here. We'll take another look here at what happened, but you can see that 13 really kind of getting that run, and it already happened. We'll go ahead and stop that there and rewind it here so you can get the whole look at this. And I'm catching Zane here, but I need to go back to 13. And we'll slow this thing down, and you can see just the run that the 13 got out of the corner. And, you know, obviously don't know much about Scott Matthews. I can see that his I ratings on the lower side, and all that, but net code right there playing a big part there off the 33. But previous to that, he didn't know what to do kind of with that run that he had getting into the 21, gave him a pretty good shot. Net code playing a big play there off the 33, sends the 13 in the wall. Dale Garner Jr. comes down and then hits the number 55 of Zane Bierman. Zane Bierman's going to go for a ride, as well as Dale Garner Jr. trying to capture his car, but you see major damage there on the 31 of Dale Garner Jr. and 55 still doing a couple 360s, able to keep it off the wall. Some maybe some very angry tires. It just looks like the 55 has kind of escaped with limited damage, but probably damage that they'll come back in and get repaired and done here. And you can see the front end there, the right side of the number 13, the City Chevrolet of Scott Matthews. Some pretty good damage on it still. So hopefully they'll be able to get it done and get it back out there. It does look like the crowd is coming in. So 22 to 6, and everybody else is going to come down. Probably top off with fuel. Probably a good break there for Daniel Pinkston, as he liked to stay out that time by. But now needs to take more fuel than others. He's going to go ahead and take tires as well, so he's going to end up falling back in the field just a little bit, trying to make sure everything's all topped off, good to go here. So we're getting ready to go back to green here shortly, but right now it's going to be Paul Helms as your leader with Foster Yates. That got that, and that had a good timing. It does look like Zane is up there at the moment as well. I think he'll have to fall back though.
Yeah, we'll take a look, as it certainly was a nice help, as Justin Spengler just barely made it through that incident there as well at the end. But the 22 definitely benefiting from this one. Two cars involved in this incident, though. The 31 and the 13 do have meatballs. And again, for those that are new to the series here, meatballs sound tasty, but it's not too tasty for your race, as there's basically 3 different versions of a black flag. There's a kind of like a cross black flag, which is half white, half black, not the checker flag. That is for a like a course cut. Typically, you'll see that on road courses. Not too often will you see anything like that on your oval tracks here, unless you're kind of cutting through the grass or something like that in the corner. But usually, you're not doing it to gain any time. You probably get sent down there. A straight black flag will make you do a penalty, whether that's a drive-through, whether it's a stop and go, or EOL and the longest line, anything like that. And then you got the dreaded meatball flag, and what that is, it's a black flag with a basically yellow dot in the middle, and it's referred to by most iRacers as a meatball flag. It just looks like a meatball in the middle of the black flag, but that means that you have required damage. You cannot proceed you have 3 laps to come into the pits to get required damage fixed. Now again, these drivers do have the fast repairs, and that will wipe that flag clean because you got a reset car, you got a brand new car, and it looks like both Dale Gardner Jr. and Scott Matthews were able to get those fast repairs in use, get back out there, and are going to rejoin the field. But it's again, we're halfway through this race now. We're just past halfway. We haven't really got to the point where you need to start racing. You need to start figuring out, where you're going to finish in this field. And even though you have 2 fast repairs, some of these drivers may have already used, at least one of them. So, potentially for Scott Matthews or Dale Gardner Jr., that might have been their second fast repair of the night. So they get involved in one more. Even if they don't get a meatball flag, they're going to be off pace. They're going to lose that draft, and it's pretty much the end of that night. So you hate using fast repairs, especially early on in the race, but you got to use them here at Daytona because you cannot fall behind.
Yeah, I mean, any little, dent, ding in your car, affects the aerodynamics. Now, sometimes you can get away with it, Carl. Sometimes you just can't get that car out front. But you can be an effective drag car where you're like right behind somebody's bumper, and they basically alleviate that damage, and air's just flowing over your car instead of slowing you down. But we're going to see how these 2 drivers kind of work their way back up. Obviously, they're going to want another caution. Ultimately, both of them want at least 2 cautions, or they want at least 2 cautions for both the drivers to get back in the lead lap. But it's on the 55 and the 31 to kind of race each other in order to stay in that lucky dog position and stay out of trouble if something were to come up. So, or that lucky dog could go away quickly. But Holmes is going to get on the loud pedal here early on lap number 56, lead them down into turn number 1. Got a little bit of a bigger jump than I think that I would have liked. You're going to see a few cars probably run right up on the back bumper of that 64 machine, but like what Casey's able to do, he's just got to go ahead and just fall in behind and not cause any issues, and just push that 64 along and try to get that inside rolling again. The outside of Foster Yates trying to bring some drivers with him, and there's no room for the 79 to come down in that bottom row, so needs to focus up and work that outside, and kind of come down just a little bit to maybe look for some of that side draft. But the inside tonight, Carl, is a place where it seems like where everybody wants to be.
Yeah, understandably, again, you have a quote-unquote racing line that you can use. That apron down at the bottom, you just stick those left side tires on the yellow line. Well, not on it, but just above it. And you can kind of follow that, and you can track it all the way around this track. You get up to that middle line, the top line. Again, you have some leeway, which is nice to have, but you don't have a set line that you're actually going to be running. Now, at the end of the race, I'm sure we'll see 3 wide racing. And when it comes to 3 wide, the inside, the outside, they're actually not the fastest. It's the middle line that is the fastest. It is by far the most sketchy, because at the top, you have to stay just inside the wall, and you can't really move down. At the bottom, you got to stay close to that line. But in the middle, you make one little mistake, again, down low, up high, you're going to cause a wreck, and it's going to be crazy. But what is crazy is the amount of side draft that you can get, because the side draft is going to take some air and put it on the car that you're going up alongside, and take it off of your nose, and it's going to make you go faster. It's just going to act like a draft, and you're essentially going to not only be like drafting behind the car that's on that inside line, but you're also going to be getting a little bit more speed in that middle line as well. Now, if you have a car on the outside as well, it's basically 2 for 1. You're getting a side draft off the inside car and the outside car, and you can be a rocket ship. You can, as much as we say these cars got to line up in line and get behind each other and draft each other, you can go from the back to the front, just going right through the middle. If nobody disturbs you along the way by yourself, the side draft works that well.
Yeah, it can work like a charm when you really need to get somewhere in a jiffy, but it's also a difficult place to be, as you can see the cars bobbling around a little bit, just people trying to make a decision. Somebody might come up. It does look like the 13 Scott Matthews has lost the draft, so now that City Chevrolet will be back there solo until something happens, and he was able to catch it back up to the field. But Paul Helms leads the pack right now, going across the start-finish line for the start of lap number 60. So 41 laps remaining here tonight, so still a good portion of the racing to go. I've seen a few people obviously out there rooting for their favorite drivers, but anybody else have a winner here tonight? Put it up in the chat and let us know who you think is going to win here tonight for Daytona for 100 laps.
Yeah, plenty of racing to go, but I'd love to see the fact that we started 17 drivers and looks like I only lost one here so far, that being William Kemp, your pole sitter here tonight. But Paul Helms up 11 spots, started back there in 12th position, and now is leading this thing. Michael Casey, Nolan Potter, Daniel Pinkston, and Bradley Worley for your top 5. Certainly quite a few drivers we've seen last year get up there and grab some wins on the season, but again, it was Michael Casey that took down the championship, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe Bradley Worley won the season opener last year at Daytona. So certainly the 88 in that outside line, we just kind of getting a taste of it right now, trying to figure out how many drivers do I need behind me, you know, when do I need to start pushing, because right now, as we're in the second half of this race, we still got 40 laps to go. Again, it doesn't matter if you get to the front right now or not. Things are going to change 20 times, maybe 40 times from here on out. So right now is kind of doing reconnaissance. How long does it take me to get from point A to point B and to get to that front? You know, what do I need to do? Do I need to side draft? How much do I need to side draft? How many drivers do I need behind me? You're just kind of taking mental notes right now, and maybe I'm trying to figure out, you know, who is good pushing, who is good being the pusher, because you may want to get, you know, up there for the win, but you may be better off as the pusher. You may find that somebody's better, you know, pushing that error in front, and you're better off pushing them up to the front, and then once you get there, then you make your move. So all this is being done right now, and, you know, oh, by the way, it's just, you know, being done at 195 miles an hour.
Yeah, definitely some speed on these drivers in the cars right now. Go ahead and bring up the dashboard. I think nope, it's hiding behind. Hold on one second, chat. Let me take down the. There we go. Wanted to take down the sponsors just momentarily so you can see how fast they're going. And just over 200 miles an hour down the straightaways. You know, that's with Bradley Worley on the outside being pushed. And you see down into the corners, you know, 193. You know, you can't even hit the 190 solos. And I think we do have somebody solo. So we'll go back to the 13 of Scott Matthews. And you see the speeds are running now, 198 to 200 miles an hour. Down to turn number 1, and now we'll go back with the 13, and you just see how much farther off pace they are. You know, 200 miles an hour, you know, a solo driver is hitting 185, 186, and there's nothing he can do, you know, to make himself go any faster. He needs the help of the other cars in order to go those speeds. So, you know, obviously Scott Matthews is going to continue to fall backwards here. As the field continues to run laps under green. And, you know, he's lost sight of them now. They're about halfway around the track on that number 13. So maybe another caution will come out and save the 13, the City Chevrolet here tonight. But right now, it's looking kind of grim for, you know, for Scott Matthews.
Yeah, as much as I want to trust these drivers to run this thing out, I'm going to go ahead and make a not so bold prediction that we will have at least one more caution before this thing is over. It's again not even at the go time yet for any of these drivers to actually start moving. And you see some of these bumps are starting to get a little bit more frisky out there. It just takes one bump the wrong way, and we could be collecting quite a few of these drivers. And then you look at the 13 and be like, well, he completely avoided any chance of this incident, and he's still got a clean car. So he may be sitting actually pretty right now, all out there by himself. But right now, it's a good driving out there. It is Paul Helms still leading the way here. Michael Casey in second, and then from there on, it's 2 by 2. You got Nolan Potter, Daniel Pinkston, Bradley Worley, Trevor Howerton, Zane Bierman, Doug Ivey, Matthew Jordan and Levi Poland currently in your top 10. Richard Hartman, Justin Spengler, Foster Yates, Wade Enyart up there for your top 14. They are all on the lead lap. You got Dale Garner Jr. is 1 lap down. And then Scott Matthews, I believe, actually is already 1 lap down, and would go 2 laps down if they catch him here again. William Kempf again out of the race here in 17th for your 17 car field here tonight.
Yeah, one of the drivers looking for one of those cautions is the number 31 of Dale Garner Jr. He's also 1 lap down, but in the kind of the tail end of the battlefield here, down to the inside. And he just needs to keep the car clean. It's one of those cases where he's out there racing, he's running with everybody, but his position is behind everybody he is with, regardless of how hard he tries. He can get up to the front, and he can, you know, essentially put that car back in the lead lap, but he would have to walk away from the field by himself, and that's just not going to happen here. So that 31 is going to need a caution in order to get back in the lead lap.
You know, there's really not much he can do right now in the fact that, you know, could he get up to the front and get, you know, back on the lead lap and try to lead this field here? Yeah, he could do that, but he probably doesn't want to do that, because then if a caution comes out, yeah, he'll get a lap back, but then he's also going to bring Scott Matthews back on the lead lap as well. But also, it's too much risk right now. He's in the spot, he's in the lucky dog spot. There's nobody else that's, you know, any threat of taking that away from him. So he can just hang right here with the field, just stay in the draft. Hopefully, if a caution comes out, he's not involved. I mean, you've seen him with a ripped off front end earlier on tonight, so he's used at least one of his faster pairs, if not 2. So you got to be really careful here if you're Dale Garner Jr. But I'm sure quite a lot of the field here has been pretty safe here tonight. Haven't had that many cautions, especially for Daytona, especially for a season opener, especially for a lot of brand new drivers out here. I think it's been pretty clean here so far, Jimmy.
Yeah, I think it's been pretty clean. Obviously, netcode playing the biggest role on the incidents, and even that last one, you know, the 13 gave you know, somebody a pretty good shot to the rear, but you know, nothing came of that. It was just probably felt and then like, whoa, you know. And obviously, you know, it's something. You know, you get out there and you just get this run, and you'll see, we've seen it, where all of a sudden it just looks like somebody, you know, gave that car, you know, a set of rocket engines, and I think, you know, that draft just kicks in and just flings the car around the track here. But you know, in the 13, maybe not expecting it, and the closure rate is just insane, and that's usually not the case a lot of times. But here on super speedways, draft is huge, draft is king, and right now it's just you know, the safety of these drivers are getting around here tonight. Now they are coming up on the 13, and now you know, they're coming up on that time frame where they have to pass a lap car. You know, with I think with Scott Matthews, I would think he's probably a little newer to iRacing. You know, how much experience does he have of a whole pack of cars just kind of gonna mow you over? So will he get out of the way? Will he be asked to go high? Will he just know to do it, or will he go low? You know, it's kind of on the on the driver. You know, some people, depending on where they're at, they'll go down the apron, but look at where they're going to catch Sky here. Maybe this time by as they cross the line here to start the lap. Oh, they're on the back stretch right now. As they start they're coming down, you know, 3, 4, and then, you know, when they come across that start-finish line, they're probably going to pass them this lap or be very, very close to it. You know, so what is the 13 going to do to save his car tonight? We're going to find out, and you know, hopefully the rest of the field could make it by, you know, making a clean pass on a lap car. And it's only one thing that, you know, one will be able to tell. This is when, after the time has passed and they actually catch him.
Well, yeah, you mentioned there's a couple different ways for the 13 to move right now, and he could be, you know, extremely gentlemanly and drop down onto the apron, let them go by, and you know, let them continue their race, and he goes down a lap. But the problem is, if he goes down in that apron, more likely than not, he's not going to be able to grab onto the back end of this field and actually get the draft, and he's going to be right back in that same spot, and he's going to be driving around by himself again without having to get any draft from anybody. So that's why a lot of times you see the lap car either hold their line and make the leaders go around him, or they'll go to the high side in hopes that they can get enough of a little bit of a side draft here, a little bit of a side draft there to pick up the speed and get onto the back of this Packard. Looks like he's going to take to the bottom, but they're not there just yet. He's going to have to move up on the track unless he slows down. And hopefully he doesn't get up there in anybody. That was close with Wade Enyart. And that's why that's not a good decision there for the 13. And looks like he's going to hold on to it. Hopefully it's not a caution. No, he's going to hold on to it. We'll keep this thing green, but that's exactly why it's more times better just going up to that top line. And even if you get into the wall, even if you scrape the wall a little bit, you just hold it up there, let the field go by you. I know it's scary, but it's your only chance of getting on the back end of that field. But now he is once again in that same spot. He is stuck by himself.
Yeah, and as we're talking about the 13 and how important it is to make a pass on a lap car, you know, he was down there, maybe got a little scared, went down a little farther. I see him hit a nice bump there in that backstretch off that apron, which I know is there as well, in the grass. Obviously can't slow it down at that point. Ends up coming back on the track and almost taking Wade Enyart out, but Wade was able to get by. But as all that was happening, up front has changed as well. Now you have Matthew Jordan up front with Bradley Worley, leading the way, side by side. Bradley Worley down the inside, Matthew Jordan on the outside. Zane Bierman now in the picture there, and Pete like 3, 4 on that second row of 2 there as he is trying to do his magic and press and push Bradley Worley out to the lead here, as the same thing is happening by the 91 Levi Poland trying to push the 23 Scruffy and trying to get that line out to the front, and you just see him going back and forth. You see the 28 Justin Spangler getting in the mix in a wreck early on, but now he's up towards the front right now, trying to really work that bumper of the 91 on that outside line, and he's got an important job, and trying to hold the line, but he's the one that basically doesn't want to touch the car in front of him. You don't want to touch him. You don't want to bump him, because he is in the push-to-pusher spot, as we call it. The 91 is the pusher for the number 23 at the moment. As we go through the corners, lift it up just a little bit. You see about a 3/4 of a car length there for the outside, and then now was on the 191 should be all over that back bumper, pushing him out to the front here. And you can see as they go by the start-finish line, was able to push the 23 for that lap lead.
You can tell the excitement's starting to ramp up here a little bit. We're down to the final 25 laps of this race, and we got a new tandem out front as Scruffy is now in the lead, the 91 in second, but you already see Zane Bierman using Bradley Worley to catch up to these top 3, goes to the outside, but doesn't have any help right now at all. And he's going to slide back as Paul Helms now moves himself back up into 4th place. Mike Casey down there in 5th, and we'll see if anyone decides to drop down from the top line. You already see right there the 33 of Douglas Ivey dropping down, and then an inside line. I think you'll see this this line start to form up here a little bit and maybe calm down for a lap or 2, and then they'll really start getting at it once you get to 20 laps to go. But really, you only need to worry about the last 5, maybe the last 3. You just need to be in the right spot with 5 laps to go. Start making your move with maybe 3 laps to go if you're further back in the field. But again, you need to be there at the end. You need to be able to survive and get there to the end. Jimmy mentioned that he prefers being on that bottom line, and I completely understand it. And we've talked about it many times. It's a nice, comfortable spot to be. It's the shortest way around the track. It's usually where more cars are than not. We're going to hold off on that thought for now, as looks like we are going to stay green as Zane Bierman threw the grass on the front stretch, and he is going to have a meatball flag as well as Douglas Ivey in the 33. He's got a meatball flag. Wade Enyart back here. He is in 13th, and maybe just waiting for them to kind of finish wrecking. But there we go. Looks like we're going to have an admin caution on this one since iRacing didn't throw the caution. And this is going to give it a chance for the drivers to get in there and make one more yellow flag pit stop. This should be the last pit stop of the race.
Catch what happened here. Oh, you can see right there. There's that 55 coming down, and again the 33 catching the unlucky break there. See the 7098s. Garner just squeaking by. Go back there, Douglas Ivey. Keeps it up on the wall here for this one. The 55 is going to go ahead and take a ride through the grass. So kind of a late moment one here, I think, at the end of the race. And now, like, if they didn't have enough fuel for the rest of the way, now they'll have fuel for the rest of the way. So I would not be surprised the pits being full blown out here for these drivers. But Bierman and Ivy both with meatballs. Hopefully they still have a fast repair remaining to eliminate those flags here this late in the race. But Dale Garner Jr. should be the lucky dog on this one, Carl.
And what's crazy is for both the 51 and the 33, doesn't really look like that much damage for it to be required damage, which is kind of crazy. But they'll have to come in. Hopefully they got that fast repair to get back out there with. I would assume everyone will be in at the pits this time. I would assume everyone will take 4 tires as well. Might as well, because you can get through this pack very quickly. You can get through this pack in a couple laps if you play it right. So the fact that we're still 20 laps left in this race, there's no reason to be worried about track position yet at this point.
This is still a long race. I mean, you got to think the laps are they're 2.5 miles long, and obviously 20 laps to go. You're still looking at 50 laps or 50 miles of racing to go, and these laps are still sitting around the 45-second time frame. So still a good amount of time, probably a good 50 or 12 to 15 minutes of green flag running here remaining, and it's still quite a bit of time to be sitting behind that wheel and then trying to right now figuring out when is my go time, when do I push the car as hard as I can and try to make position.
We'll see what these drivers can do here, and certainly for Wade Enyart, I'm sure he's happy to be rejoining the field. It looks like the 13 of Scott Matthews stayed out there to end up getting a wave around since everybody came in. Not sure what happened there. The 22 of Daniel Pinkston, I seen him off the track. I'm not sure if he got caught up in a pit road exit incident. We have to rewind that a little bit and see what exactly happened there. That's Daniel Pinkston. Here is him exiting, and now he caused the incident himself. It's a little extra excited to get back out there on the track, and one thing I'm surprised, he didn't get a penalty for that, Jimmy. Somehow that's not an unsafe exit at a pit road. Sometimes, I don't know. I mean, he was the in-race admin last year, so maybe he's still got the buttons to help himself out there. But no, we
that didn't happen.
We would have seen that on our side. But
we busted you.
You may not get a penalty, but he gets a reward for the bonehead of the race there for making a little spin out by himself there on pit road. Either way,
he's been in the booth just as long as probably almost as much as we have been, especially for these races. So I give the guy a little bit of a break, Carl, because I know that we probably make our fair share of mistakes out on the track.
Oh, plenty. I mean, there's a reason why I ran 2 different sessions of the Petit Le Mans this weekend. The first one didn't go so well, and I was one of 2 of our 3 drivers that ended up in the car at one point or another. I think it was 12 and a half minutes of damage, because in those races, those official races, you don't have a fast repair. You got to sit there and wait for that thing to get repaired. So,
well, now the race is over. The second one is over. How much pressure was on yourself not to make the same mistake after you get in the car in P number 2?
Honestly, I feel like all the pressure was off, because at that point I'm like, I already made what is going on here. I already made my mistakes. I already had, my chance in the car. I already ran and tried to do well and try to get fast laps. After that, it was just kind of, all right, let's just settle in here and let's try and keep the car clean. And the other one, we were because of the drivers that we had on the team, maybe punching a little above our weight, and I felt like a little extra pressure to try and put in some fast laps, and I didn't have that much practice in the car, so I was still kind of feeling it out. By the second one, kind of had an idea of how the car drove, and I could get after it a little bit and do one thing that I like to do, Jimmy, and set the fastest lap for the team. Even though we didn't get the win, I'll take the fastest lap. I'll take that. That's a little feather in my cap.
Well, I will say that all the pressure was on when I had to go out and qualify,
Yes.
and after I got the tires warmed up, I was trying to get into the 12 seconds like I did earlier in the day, and it just a little bit too much. I ended up sending our car around, and was only able to had to reset the car, come back in. I was only allowed to get one lap in, and it only qualified us in 9th. But I think it worked out to the best, so we were able to kind of see everything ahead of us. I gave a lot early, following and being slower in times when I shouldn't, like where I probably could have been more aggressive. But I think all in all, we kept the car clean, safe, and we walked away with that nice P2 there for CRN. So I can't complain too much. But right now, that pace car is in. Somebody's looking to get a P1, P2, and even that P3 here tonight at Daytona. The 91's going to get on the loud pedal here, and with the 99 and get out front. So another leader here of Levi Poland to start things off here with 18 laps to go.
Bit of a rough start on the outside, and see Zane Bierman still bouncing off the wall back there, and finally gets it cleared up. But you see 3 wide back here and almost some bumping. These drivers right here need to get in line and get in line quickly, or this front field is going to check out from them, and they'll need another caution to just get back up there and have a chance at even a top 10. As leading the way now, Levi Poland in the 91, Nolan Potter in second. Mike Casey has moved this up back up into third. You see Scruffy and Worley rounding out your top 5. Paul Helms, Richard Hartman, Douglas Ivey, Justin Spengler, and Trevor Howerton for your top 10. As Ivey's certainly involved in a couple incidents here tonight in the 33. He's back up there now in the top 10. Clean car, ready to go after it here, as again we're down less than 17 laps to go here to finish the season opener here for season number 7 of the 191 Motorsports. Once again, thank you to our sponsors, One Vision EMS and Transport, and Kim's Cups and more.
You can see Nolan Potter is working really well right now with Levi Poland, so just kind of trying to get those cars out front there and lead the way here with only a few laps remaining. And they're looking to finish this thing under green, I'm sure, and not have any more incidences. But obviously we have a lot of drivers that want to get that win, and it's early, and like Mike Casey was saying while he was up here in the booth, nice long season here. There is no drop races though, Carl, so if you miss out, you miss out. The best way to get the most points is to be here each and every week. Right now the 91, 99 working the best they can. 6 of Mike Casey just kind of sitting back there, maybe waiting for his opportunity. But I believe the 91 and 99 are newer drivers this season. Mike Casey and Matthew Jordan obviously were here last season. Will they work together when it comes down to it? And can they bring maybe like Bradley Worley with them if they just decide to shoot to the outside? This is something all we're going to be watching here as these laps unfold. 15 laps to go. It's Levi Poland out front with Nolan Potter, Michael Casey, Matthew Jordan, Bradley Worley, Paul Helms, Richard Hartman, Douglas Ivey, and Justin Spengler up there for your top 10. Did I get ahead of myself? Nope, Howerton is in top 10. And then it's Foster Yates, Wade Inyard, Dale Garner Jr., Daniel Pinkston, Zane Bierman, and I think Scott Matthews, still out there with a beat-up car. So just kind of following behind, just looking to finish this thing out and get some points. And unfortunately for Scott, sometimes you just got to take your lumps when you get them, and hopefully you'll do better later on. So 13 just getting some laps in to get those much needed couple points, and and that could be the deciding factor from not being the last one in the points championship race. But Carl, 14 laps to go, the 91 out front. Is this where you want to be?
No. And one thing I do want to say before we get into that is, I mentioned it's starting to get ramped up right now. 9 drivers on that last lap ran their fastest lap of the race, with one of them being the fastest overall lap of the race. So yeah, it's starting to get hot and heavy. The pedals are pushed through the floor at this point. But yeah, to bring up, first of all, what I talked about earlier, Jimmy, you like to run on that bottom line. You kind of have a little guide to follow at that bottom. But me, I don't like to be on the bottom. I'd rather be on the middle line or the top line, so that way I have that freedom to kind of move around and pick up anybody that's got a good run on that outside to try and push me to the front. I can use that side draft as much or as little as I want to and try and work my way to the front. I don't like being the leader. I've mentioned it so many times here on the broadcast. I feel like the leader is just a sitting duck coming to the white flag, because everybody behind him is looking for a way to get around him, unless you got some super good BFFs right behind you trying to push you along, and they're not afraid to give you the win, and they'll finish up there in second. Everybody's going to look for a way around you, and they're going to try and send any kind of moves early, late, and everywhere in between. But if you have the lead at the white flag and all of a sudden the caution comes out, you're going to just run your way right to the win anyway. So we've seen it. Probably 90% of the times the leader ends up winning the race anyway, the leader on the white flag, but I still don't like it. I still would rather be, second in line, third in line, so I have a chance to kind of dip out there and get that last second run. As the 52 just sliding down there in front of Douglas Ivy on that one. That was certainly close, as we're getting down to almost 10 laps to go in this race. Levi Poland still leads the way.
They're doing a good job so far, and obviously just holding that yellow line, keep protecting that inside, not allowing the drivers to get down here. The bottom lane has been the dominant lane all evening, so it's not something that I think anybody wants to give up. Yeah, you might be the sitting duck, and you might see them do some blocking, but it's what will the rest of the group do. Like I said, it's like, who's going to work with who here? And I think if somebody's going to make a move, it's going to need to be made probably within the next 3 to 4 laps. You'd probably see Michael Casey maybe step out and hopefully bring the 23 and the 88 with them, as they were running together last season. Or will they hang the last year's champion out to dry and let them fall back and take that spot away? So it's kind of dog eat dog world out there when it comes down to these final laps, and who's going to win. It can be anybody here that's out there running, that's on the lead lap. I'd say anybody in front of Zane Bierman right now. Zane Bierman back just a little bit. We've seen Zane kind of fall back through the field, and now is kind of stuck, battling out here with these 4 drivers, and they're doing the best they can to hopefully not fall any farther back, and if something big happens, being able to get caught up there. But so in these 2 drivers here, obviously the 55 to 22 are up front. We've seen Garner up towards the front as well, and you're back there just I think enjoying just being out there racing here tonight, as he always does, in the back of the field, just trying to hang on here. It's not going to finish last though. He started last, but definitely not going to finish there. He's up 3 spots here tonight. Big spoiler of the race is your current leader, Levi Poland, up 13 spots.
I mean, when you start last, there's only one way to go, Jimmy.
Yeah, right?
It's going up at one way. So we'll see how far up way to end your finishes. But we are down to less than 10 laps to go now, and it's starting to get close. Maybe still not just yet to go time, but while we have a chance, we'll take a look at the schedule for this season. As we mentioned last year, we started at Daytona. Bradley Worley getting the win in the start of the 12 race season 3. But season 4, quite a few more races, 20 races on the docket as we start off here at Daytona. Then we got Old Atlanta, Chicagoland Auto Club, love it. Kentucky for your first 5 races, Dover, New Atlanta, Indianapolis, Kansas, and Talladega for your first 10. And then the back half of the schedule is going to go Bristol, back to Charlotte for a throwback paints night. So certainly already looking forward to that one in January. Michigan, Love it. Daytona, once again on race number 14, North Wilkesboro, Pocono, Homestead, Iowa, another race at Talladega, and then we'll see who's going to party it up in Las Vegas with the championship on race number 20, as the schedule going to run all the way out to March 15th for this season. So looking forward to it. Certainly you got the Thanksgiving break in there. You got the Christmas and New Year's break mixed into the schedule as well, which is why it stretches out a little bit further. But it's a lot of good tracks, a lot of good races set for season 4. So looking forward to it here every Sunday nights or thereabouts, without the drop, or not the drop weeks, but the weeks off. But right now we got to decide who is going to win the season opener here. Will it be the defending champion Mike Casey there in 3rd place? Will it be the defending race winner here, Bradley Worley, in 5th? Well, we got Scruffy Jordan making a comeback here to the series and getting the win here on the season opener after missing the season finale last season. Or we have one of our new bloods out there, Levi Poland, Nolan Potter, 1st and 2nd right now. We got Paul Helms up there in 6th place, Richard Hartman, Douglas Ivey, Justin Spengler, Trevor Howerton, all certainly within the realm there in the top 10, and even back there to 11th, Foster Yates, before you have a big gap back to the second group as they're starting to dodge around here and maybe starting to figure out who's going to make that final move and when, as we've got 5 laps to go here at Daytona.
5 laps to go, and if you're farther back in the field, back there in, around Hartman, I would say, I would think about starting to see who's going to come with me, and you might see them step out. They got to get this, this draft going, this side drafting going, and really make a move here. It's just when they're going to do it, and you start letting these laps click by. You're just looking to kind of just follow and see, kind of know that you're getting a little desperate as the times come. So something needs to happen by some of the drivers towards the back of the pack. They need to figure out something in order to get things going. You need a 52 to really get into that draft of Paul Helms there, and start pushing, see, and make things actionable. Hartman taking a look, trying to get that 33 to come out there to maybe push and make that run happen here. So like I said, it's a good spot right here. Maybe even Paul Helms is maybe starting to think about wanting to try to go to the outside, but somebody trying to make a move right now. We're going to look at it right now. It is Foster Yates, but he's going to tag the wall. That's going to slow that momentum down huge. But had the right idea, just was out there by himself, and it looked like I think it was Trevor Hoverton there was looking to possibly go with him until the Foster just kind of brushed the wall just a little bit, taking that momentum away.
Yeah, certainly. I want to thank you there, Brenda, and we try and do our best up here in the booth to give everyone out there as much entertainment as possible. Certainly, you're here to watch your friends, your family out here trying to get it done here. Some out there watching their coworkers, seeing what they're going to talk about on Monday morning, and some of you just dedicated CRN fans out there wanting to hear me and Jimmy one more time. Not sure why, but we appreciate everyone out there in CRN Nation. Again, if you haven't done so yet, hit that thumbs up, hit that like, and subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything for either, and all it does is helps 191 here get their video up there and the YouTube algorithms a little bit more. So if somebody searches Daytona or Gen 6 or anything that could resemble it, iRacing, there's a chance that this video is shown a little bit higher in their search results by you ladies and gentlemen out there hitting that thumbs up. But it's certainly go time here tonight. 2 laps to go here at Daytona. Mike Casey now in the lead. Huge run and a big push in to the corner, certainly pushing the pusher on that one, as we got Casey, Jordan, and Worley for your top 3 right now heading out of the corner. Barney is ready with that white flag. We've got 1 more lap to go in the season opener. Who you got? Who you think is going to get this thing done? It's Casey, Scruffy, and Worley on that inside line, waiting for the second line to make a run. You got the 91 Levi Poland kind of dipping out here and there, looking to maybe try and get out there, and he is going to take to the outside. Who's going with him? Spengler is going to give a bump to Bradley Worley. Looks like the 99, the other newcomer here of Nolan Potter, going to try and push that 91 on the outside, but just not getting a good enough run. At the front, it is Casey coming off the corner, but here comes Gordon as they start wrecking at the backs, and Michael Casey gets sent sideways, and they're still wrecking, coming to the line. Scruffy Jordan is going to get the win here tonight. Matthew certainly making up for missing the season ender last season. He's going to start the season off on top. Justin Spengler going to come home in second. Levi Poland in third. Bradley Worley, Richard Hartman for your top five, as Michael Casey's going to have to settle for sixth place here tonight. Got a little bit of a bump and a little bit sideways coming out of the final corner, and it was enough to get the 23 into victory lane.
I'll go back and try to catch what happened here. There's this here's on the back stretch, and where everybody's starting to make moves here. And you can see the 91 Levi Poland. Here we'll speed it up a little bit. They're coming down, and you can see nobody going with the new guy. New guys trying to stay together on that outside, are able to kind of get a run going here. And then this is right here, you see the bumping and banging there with Paul Helms. Helms coming up into the 99 spinning. That's going to take Paul Helms and the 33 out of it here. Then up front, the 23 in the 88. The 88 getting a heck of a run, but bad push right there. Coming out of turn number 4 is going to send the 6 down to the inside. That allows Spengler to go to the outside, take that spot, and just keep following the 23 for that second place finish. See the 79 of Yates and the 67 getting together. That's going to slow them up, allow Mike Casey to get back into it. Hartman down to the inside, looking to get by Worley, and that nose just kind of goes across there. So the 52 slows up. Worley's going to go for a ride. 67 slows up back there just a little bit, and you can see the run down here. The 28 and the 91 trying to run it out here as they're spread out as they go by here. They're already across the start finish line. So,
this is naked, Jimmy.
Yeah, I keep forgetting the start finish line way back there, but great race here at the end. Obviously, everybody, it happens here at the end, and you like to see these things, go as clean as possible, and not the wrecks happen at the end. But just everybody going so fast, the slightest mistake sends people sideways. But great finish overall. And go ahead and I'll drop down this ticker here, and then we'll bring up the result here of the race here tonight, so you can see where your favorite driver finished. And your winner here tonight is going to be Matthew Jordan, and then number 23 getting the win here for the first race of the season. Justin Spengler coming back and getting after being in trouble early, finishes in second. The newcomer of Levi Poland will finish in third, then Bradley Worley in fourth. Richard Hartman in fifth, Michael Casey in the 6th car, finishing in 6th place. Trevor Howerton in 7th, Foster Yates in 8th, Douglas Ivey in 9th, Zane Bierman finishes in 10th, Daniel Pinkston in 11th, Dale Garner Jr. in 12th, Wade Inyards in 13th, Nolan Potter, Paul Helms, Scott Matthews, William Kent, and good old Greg up there doing a fantastic job as steward in the race. So obviously you're going to get a shout out just like Daniel did last year. So welcome to the team, Greg. Hopefully you had a good time up there in the booth making those much needed decisions here tonight for 191.
He's got to figure out a way to not finish 100 laps down for next race out, but that's beside the point.
Spectate
exactly. Exactly. Well, we got our top 3 here in the booth. Get them ready for their interviews. Once again, I want to thank our sponsors here for the series, Kim's Cups and More, and One Vision EMS and Transports. But third place here tonight is going to be the driver of the 91, and that is going to be Levi Poland getting it done here. Levi, fresh meat, new blood here to the series, and your first race out here with 191 Motorsports in the Gen 6 series. Certainly, it's always questionable when you start off at a track like Daytona. You never know how it's going to play out, never know what's going to happen. You had the lead late, and you had another newcomer there, the 99, giving you a push, and Potter trying to keep you out there to the lead. You fell back a little bit and had one last-ditch effort to go to the outside to get the win. I guess we'll kind of start there. We'll start at the end. Do you feel like there's anything different that you might have been able to do to try and get this win here tonight?
I could have probably moved up in the higher lane a little bit earlier. I was trying to keep Potter closest to me as possible, not try to ditch him. So I was trying to wait to throw the block high late, and I waited too late on that, and I think that's kind of what messed me up in that scenario.
Were you surprised when you went to the outside that nobody in front of you went to the outside and tried to either block you or at least try and have you push them to the front as well?
Yeah, it seemed like everybody kind of wanted to stay single file. I guess maybe everybody was running well with other people already, and it seemed like the two in front of me definitely didn't want to go outside, or people behind me. But it happens. It's part of the racing.
Well, listen, I mean, it's the first race of the season, and it's always great when you get a podium. One, you get to come up here and chat with us a little bit, which I know a lot of drivers like to do that. But also, you survive Daytona. It is kind of the big feather in the cap, and you get yourself not only a survival token, but you get a top 3 as well. So a great start to the season. Before we let you go and get out of here, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
I want to give a shout out to my teammate, William Kemp. I know he had to leave early, but I'd like to thank him for all the help. And my fiance, my children, and I'll thank 191 for the Motorsports, for the league, and thank you guys for broadcasting it. This is absolutely fun.
Appreciate it, buddy. Good running out there. We'll see you next week and see if you can get up to that top spot.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.
That is a driver of the 91, Levi Poland, getting it done here in 3rd place. 2nd place here tonight, certainly Ender Jess is appreciative of it, is going to be the 28 of Justin Spengler.
Justin, Jimmy Carl in the booth, Cappy.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, man. Hey, been a little while, yeah, and definitely an eventful race. We were out there. I think Jess said that wanted you to do a good job tonight. And next thing you know, you're off driving through the grass. I figured maybe you had some chores to do or something. But either way, you recovered and you were able to come by and be in the right spot, the right time, and able to follow Matthew there, kind of push him towards that victory and get yourself a great finish here, or a 2nd place. So give us a little rundown on how everything was for you out there, because we know how much of pretty much of an endurance race this can be here for an oval.
For sure. Yeah, the majority of the race, I just tried to keep my nose clean. Trouble still found me anyway. So, just stayed back there and bided my time. And that last 5 laps, man, that was absolutely crazy. Having to come through the field and waiting for the right timing. And when I saw that door open to jump up behind Scruffy and give him that shove there at the end, I was surprised that Brad didn't jump up there. But Brad and Mike were working together there right at the end, and I jumped up there. I saw an opportunity to grab some spots and push a good buddy to a win. And I know how much it means to him. I know how much it means to me. I didn't finish the end of the season last year last season the way that I wanted to. So nice strong finish for Scruffy and I. Definitely gonna start things off on a good foot and try to hold it down as we go forward.
Yeah, definitely plenty of races on the docket for the season. Through the quite a few months here, as obviously you'll have that short break for the holidays. But great run here to start the season off. Great finish. So again, from CRN and everybody out there, especially Jess, supporting you the way she does in the channel. It's always good to see. So congratulations, and we'll give you some time for any shouts you might have in that number 28.
Well, I mean, Geek Creek Motorsports, love my guys, love my VTC that I have for the virtual trucking company. Love Jess, love Kaylee, love Ben, my kids, and my significant other, my fiance. They're my world, my rock. So I couldn't make any of it happen without them being as supportive as they are. Scruffy, he's one of the best dudes I know. So just being able to race with him on a daily basis and enjoy the camaraderie from CRN and my 191 guys. A lot of new faces that we see here. Hopefully we can get our name out there and get more good guys in here and fill the bleachers a little bit more,
Yeah, it's definitely a great start for the league and a great foundation. Once they see what's out there, obviously you guys running a very unique car that no longer exists. So that always poses its challenge. I guess some people are hesitant to run these awesome cars, but I know where I would be if I wasn't up in the booth. I'd be right down there running with everybody as I had a chance while you guys were doing some recruiting to get out there and run with y'all. And it was a ton. It was probably one of the funnest things I've done in a long time, especially when it came to ovals. So thanks for all the shout outs. And again, congratulations here on your second place finish. We'll let you go celebrate with your friends and family.
Look forward to talking to you guys a lot more this season.
Yes, sir.
All right, that is your second place finisher here tonight, the 28 of Justin Spengler. Top spot here tonight is going to go to Matthew Jordan, driver of the 23 Scruffy. The beard continues to grow as the legend does as well, and tonight it starts with a win here on the opening night. So you missed the season finale last season. You started off here on top and not wasting any time getting that first win. Never easy here at Daytona, but you had the right friends behind you. You made the right move at the right time, and you get it done here tonight.
I'm tired. Just to start off, I'm tired. Ooh, I'm sweating. I got my shirt's wet, and man, I had beads of sweat running down my back. It was bad. My ears are hot. So, man, it just so happened to just work out for me. And I mean, I kind of try to stay towards the front there for a little bit. And then I kind of got shuffled to the back and just kind of try to stay out of the way of everybody. And I almost got involved with the 13 and the 33. That was really close. And yeah, everybody was checking up in front of me, and I just jerked it to the right just to barely miss them. I almost got the back end of the 33, and that scared me. But yeah, it was an up and down race, and I'm glad I got to be up there and push Mike and Brad and all those guys, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you got the full experience here. Daytona was certainly doing Daytona things here tonight. A little bit of netcode involved in a few of these incidents here tonight with some cars getting hooked because of netcode. But I mean, we didn't really see a big one here tonight, so that is definitely a plus. We didn't see one that took out 6, 7, 8, 9 cars here in the field. I think everybody probably had a close moment or 7 throughout this race here tonight. But I mean, at the end, as I've mentioned before, to finish first, you must first finish, and you were up there in the kind of the breakaway field. The drivers out there in a straight line, trying to go for that checker flag here at the end. You come off of turn number 4. Well, even before that, when did you kind of formulate in your mind when you want to try and make that move? Because you were in line behind Casey, and you know that he's gunning for back-to-back championships here. So what did you have to do, and when did you make that move?
I mean, I was itching. I really was. I was kind of sticking my nose out there for a little bit and just kind of seeing what I could get going in turn 4 and turn 2, and it just seemed like I was getting more of a run on turn 4 than I was on turn 2. And I mean, then you got to flank down the backstretch, so you don't have that far to go to get to the finish line. And if I could get to his quarter panel, I might have a chance, and I just had to put myself to where I had a chance to get there, and it just so happened to work out. And I hate what happened to Mike, but I'm gonna tell you that man can drive. I don't know what talent he has. I know his talent, but I don't know where he got it from. But I went back and looked at the replay, and the way he saved that car, I wouldn't have been able to save it. It would have went right into the infield wall, and I'd be in the infield care center. It would have been over for me.
Infield wall, and maybe even the outfield wall.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'd be right back up there, and everybody be going, "Hey, man, what are you doing? Hold the brake." Okay, I'm sorry.
You can't park there. Exactly.
Yeah,
well, listen, I mean, you made your move to the outside, and you got to the lead. but it wasn't over just yet. You still had your run to the checker flag there, and there's a lot of space in between you and the other cars there, because you were running kind of up there towards the outside wall with Justin right behind you. I mean, speaking with Justin, he sounded like he was more than happy to get you up there and get you that win, and wasn't going to try and make a move on you. But were you kind of looking at that mirror at all and waiting for that 28 to make a dive there at the end?
I really wasn't. I was looking straight. And I mean, I was going to hold it where I had it at. I was not going to try to block it all. If he had to run, I was going to let him have it. I was just so happy to finish. There was a few nail biting moments in this one. It's bad whenever you have almost a month off and you don't do a whole lot of racing, and then you go back to racing and you go, I done forgot how to do this.
Yeah, and oh, by the way, you just got to do it at Daytona at 200 miles an hour. Yeah, it's no biggie. No biggie.
No biggie. I just rode around and tried to hold my line and try to stay consistent and try to stay where I could tuck in behind somebody, try to save a little fuel. I took tires every other stop, and I didn't take 2, I took 4. And I knew I needed the handling because the track was hot.
Yeah, it was definitely it was hot and certainly heated out there for all the drivers as well. But you get it done here tonight. You get the top spot. You get the lead here and the points leaving, and it's a long season for you guys here this time. It's not just 12 races; it's 20 races on the schedule. So it's definitely going to be an endurance for the season, not just like the endurance you had here tonight. But not only do you finish the race, you finish on top. Next week, Old Atlanta. Any thoughts on Old Atlanta? Do you feel like that 23 is going to be fast there?
I don't know. We're gonna definitely get on the practice and grindstone and just try to practice this week and just try to. I'm just gonna crank the temperatures up and just hold it to the floor and see how well I can do. I'm not great at Old Atlanta, but we're gonna see. We'll just practice this week and see how it turns out.
All right, buddy. Well, before you do that, definitely take some time to celebrate this win here to start the season off. But before we let you go and get out of here tonight, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
First of all, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be able to sit in this chair and race every weekend with my buddies. There's just no way. And my beautiful wife and my beautiful daughter, they're sitting in the living room right now and they're watching me, and I know they heard me hollering because whenever I crossed that line, I think I blew Justin's ears off whenever I went across the line because I was hollering. And yeah, and my mom and dad, maybe they're watching, and yeah, just everybody out there that's a fan of mine. I really appreciate y'all turning in, and to you guys for putting this on for us. And yeah, and all of our sponsors. I'm horrible at naming sponsors. I'm just going to jump out there right now. Thank you all, everybody that sponsors this series. Thank you so much. And yeah, and I believe that's it. I can ramble on forever.
I guess one last question for you. Was it yelling for joy that you won the race for the fact that the race was over, or is the answer just yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes. The second one, yes. I was surprised that it happened because I thought that me and Mike were going to be in a drag race to the end, and I hate that happen, man. That tears me up because Mike's one of my good friends. We play other games together, and like we talk to each other near about every day or every other day about something. There's something always going on. And just to be, he's also my rival too. I strive so hard to beat him.
Well,
I give him a hard time too.
You did here tonight. You could say that he hasn't won a single race all season, and you've won every single one of them.
I'm just glad to get the momentum started this season and maybe not have the luck that I had last season.
Yes,
We're
exactly.
going to push really hard.
All right, buddy. Well, like I said, take some time to celebrate this one, and we'll see you next week at Old Atlanta.
Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Jimmy. Y'all have a great one.
You too.
You too, buddy. That is your winner here tonight. The 23, Matthew Scruffy Jordan, getting the win here at Daytona, surviving it. Certainly happy jumping for joy that he got the win and that the race is finally over. And I'm sure there's quite a few drivers out here tonight, wherever they finished in the race. Just the fact that they finished, if you finished 4th, 5th, 6th in the race, you're just happy you finished up there and got a decent points night, because that's what Daytona can do to you. It can be taxing on you. And you heard Scruffy, he was sweating from hair to toes all the way here tonight, and that's what it'll do for you, and it'll definitely eat your nerves. This was a fun one here to start the season. Again, we got Old Atlanta coming up next week. Chicagoland and Auto Club will round out our month of October. So 191 back in full action, and so is CRN here. As again, we have 7 different series over 5 nights. So make sure you're tuned in every night here at CRN, and we get you some racing action. But for myself and Jimmy here from the CRN booth at Daytona, we'll see you at the track.
Peace.